Okay, the argon tank, bottle, cylinder, clamps, whatever I'm going to call them. Those are the two bottles. The big one's the 250 cubic foot. The small one's the 125. The clamps are completed. Here's the chain. Got this lay flat chain, you know? And here's how it attaches at one end. Got a piece of all thread welded to a link, all with the dial arc, you know. And I got a rod joiner. That's 3/8 all thread. And here's what they look like on the other side, interestingly enough. I got a hook. The hook is intentionally mounted on an angle. Here's how it looks, regular orientation from the top, alright? Here's the hook. Here's how it looks directly from the side. You can see that the hook is mounted on a slant. Reason being, each link of the chain engages the next one on a slant. So in order to have this make the chain lay flat, I had to slant the hooks. But here's the rod joiner at the opposite end on the small tank. This is a piece of 1/2 by 1 welded on at an angle so that I could drill the hole straight through on my drill press. But it's on an angle so the stud will go through and make the chain engage correctly. And this is the 125 tank. There is a little tiny bit of airspace. I don't know if you can see the floor. Maybe you can see me. Yeah, it's a little bit of airspace in there. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch. There it is down there. On the 125. And here's the 250 tank, okay? The strap and all. Here's the rod joiner with the thing. With the stud and all. Welded with my dial arc. 3/8 rod joiner. 3/16 by 1 strap. A couple of spot welds. Some of my old toolies. Here's the hook again. Here's what it looks like directly from the side. It's intentionally welded in on a slant. And by the way, the biggest piece of the biggest piece of round cold rolled I could get through the chain was 1/4 inch. But this is 5/16 cold rolled. I had to stretch this out at one length so I could slide it over the hook. So the hook is easily disengageable. And I made it larger, much larger than the chain, because I was only going to have one side of it attached, okay? So, you know what that means. That means, well, you know, it means they're essentially, the chain lays flat, and that thing's real tight. And these things aren't going to fall off, alright? Yeah, they're on for the duration. See, here's, this is the 250 tank. They're not loose and wiggly. This is the 125 tank. The tank is moving. That's the tank moving. Here's the 250. The tank's moving, not the thing on the tank. And the 250, this 250 has a little bit more clearance, actually. I got the curve wrong. Unbelievably enough, okay? This piece of flat bar I had strapped around with that piece of 2x2 and those 5/8 studs. And then I welded this thing onto the tank, onto the flat bar rather, while it was bolted on, okay? I didn't expect it to warp, but it did warp, and I don't see how it could have warped, but it did. Somehow or another, they both managed to warp. This one has about, no, I don't know, 3/32 of airspace in the middle there. Even though it's welded, this thing was down flat to the tank, alright? With no airspace because it was under tremendous amounts of pressure. I couldn't tell you how many thousands of pounds, but I had those 5/8 studs pulled tight with that giant 1 1/16 wrench, okay? But there's that airspace in there, that pesky old, oh, I don't know. It might be 3/32 on the high side. Let's call it a fat 16th. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I came up with. You know, those are the, I still got to attach them to the dip-pak and stuff, you know, whatever. And there's my 125 tank and my 250 tank. They're both mounted the same way, you know, with the 1/2 solid, hot rolled, 3/8 holes, 3/8 all thread, welded to a chain link at the end. And then I got the hook at the opposite end with the stretched out link. That's the same on both tanks, okay? Here's from the side view. I don't know if I can hold it steady enough, but that's as best I can do. So yeah. And yeah. This is my, you got one of these? It's an old ratchet thing. 3/8 drive ratchet. Made by Palm Company. Here's the screwdriver that goes with it. This goes on the end. You know. It's an oldie goldie. These things used to be the cat's pajamas in about 1972. You know, old mechanics still recognize these. Here's an old Cornwell wrench. You know. Whoa! My hook fell off. Uh-oh. Back to the drawing board. Whoa. That's a bad thing. Uh-oh.